And we're live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live stream. 7:40 p.m. It is Thursday, the 23rd of October, the month of October. Flying by as the months seem to be doing in recent times. The 23rd day already, getting close to the end of the month and into a new month. November soon. We'll be looking at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press today in Spain. Some comments that have been left on the channel by viewers in recent times in response to videos that I have posted. And we'll go into the live chat section around the 20-minute mark and see what is bubbling away there. So, straight into the news we will go, and Spain's finance minister has been in the UK meeting with his counterparts in that country, and he is urging faster labour mobility between the UK and Spain. Spanish Economy Minister Carlos Cuerpo has called for quicker progress on labour mobility between Spain and the UK, a key demand of Spanish businesses since Brexit. Speaking at the Spain-UK Business Forum in London alongside British Trade and Enterprise Minister Peter Kyle, Cuerpo stressed the importance of strengthening economic ties, noting that bilateral investment stands at 150 billion euros and trade totals 80 billion euros in goods and services. Cuerpo's visit also included meetings with UK Chancellor Rachel Reeves, major investors and financial institutions such as BlackRock, Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan. He emphasised Spain's aim to facilitate the entry of Spanish startups into the British market and attract UK funding. While the British government remains cautious on mobility agreements, Cuerpo said Spain considers free movement of workers a priority and hopes to make rapid progress. So we will see if a deal can be done between the two countries to improve the movement of workers between the two countries, which has been virtually stalled since Brexit back in 2016 or whenever the crackdown began. The freedom of movement that British and Spanish people had between the two countries obviously coming to an end. A lot more complicated now, but could an agreement be reached between the two countries, or a bilateral agreement between the two countries to speed up that process when it comes to workers either coming to Spain to work in the booming Spanish economy, British workers, or the other way around, Spanish people going to the UK and working in the jobs on offer there, as many Spaniards have done over the last 30 or 40 years, or at least before Brexit, when it was a lot easier. Before a young Spanish person could hop on a plane, go to the United Kingdom, get a job, no problems at all. But now they go to Ireland. Second piece of news here, and Donald Trump again targets Spain over NATO spending. They're not playing as a team, he said. For the fifth time in less than 2 weeks, US President Donald Trump has publicly criticized Spain for failing to meet NATO's new defense spending target of 5% of GDP. Speaking from the Oval Office alongside NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, Trump said everyone's paying 5% now except Spain. You should talk to Spain. Spain isn't playing as a team. He added that the Spanish problem could be solved very easily. Trump's repeated attacks come despite Spain's insistence that it will meet NATO's capacity goals with spending closer to 2.1 to 2.2%. Rutte, who remained silent during the exchange, later acknowledged that Spain had signed the latest NATO declaration but had refused to commit to 5%, instead agreeing to a future review. The latest remarks follow Trump's earlier suggestions that Spain could face sanctions or even expulsion from NATO for disloyalty. So Trump again targeting Spain, as we can see here, the fifth time in 2 weeks. The Spanish press, of course, all over this. Spanish Prime Minister hasn't really had much of a response until today. I think today was the first time that he has addressed Mr. Trump and these demands for Spain to spend 5% of GDP. 2.1 is what Spain says that it will be able to spend, or 2.2 I think we also saw there. So Trump insisting, and the Spanish government is saying, why are journalists asking Trump all the time about Spain? Please stop mentioning the word Spain and get us off the headlines. That is what the Spanish government is asking the press to do. But as we know, in a normal democracy, the press has a lot of freedom. In some countries, they don't have much freedom anymore. Let's hope Spain doesn't go down that particular path. Now, the response from Mr. Sanchez, as we can see here, he has confirmed arms purchases from the US and responds to Trump. Spain is a reliable country, Mr. Trump. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez has confirmed that Spain will purchase weapons from the US as part of a recent NATO initiative, reaffirming the country's commitment to the alliance, to defense, and to supporting Ukraine. His remarks come after US President Donald Trump again criticized Spain for not raising its defense spending to 5% of GDP. Sánchez defended Spain's record, noting that military investment has increased significantly under his government. We have met our capability targets, something the opposition party, the PP, failed to do. He emphasized that Spain is a reliable country that honors its commitments, recalling that when he took office in 2017, defense spending stood at just 0.9% of GDP. Speaking ahead of the European Council in Brussels, Sánchez insisted that Spain now fulfills both current and past NATO obligations. Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez on the front foot there, defending his country's stance when it comes to NATO, and of course reaffirming its commitment to buy US weapons to send to Ukraine. So Spanish money going into US military armament there to be sent to the Ukraine to help with the fight there against the Russians, Mr. Sanchez. And again, blaming the opposition party for not spending any money at all, 0.9%, as we saw there. Sanchez has got it up to 2.1, 2.2, far from the 5 that Mr. Trump wants. Who will win? Spain, NATO, or Trump? Let's see. And the final article that we'll look at today, Lisbon, Madrid and Barcelona, EU cities where housing costs eat up the most income. Lisbon, Madrid and Barcelona are the European Union's 3 cities where residents spend the highest share of their income on housing, according to a report released by the European Council ahead of the 23rd of October summit. Based on Deutsche Bank research, the report reveals that Lisbon residents spend an astonishing 116% of their salary on housing costs, followed by Madrid and Barcelona at 74% each. These Iberian cities far exceed others such as Luxembourg, and Frankfurt 34%, Helsinki 35%, and Vienna 37%. The report, One Roof, Many Realities, Europe's Complex Housing Crisis, describes housing as a structural problem across the EU, though with strong local variations. Between 2015 and early 2025, housing costs have risen by an average of 58% across the EU, with the sharpest increases in Hungary, up 237%, and Portugal and Lithuania, up 147%. So some unbelievable figures there in the article. 116% of a Portuguese salary needed to pay rent in a city like Lisbon, or Lisbon, however you pronounce that word there. Amazing. Barcelona, Madrid, 74% of your salary to live in a place in those 2 cities, the biggest cities in Spain. Unbelievable. 3/4 of somebody's salary on average going towards rent. I'm speechless on this. It used to be around 30%, I think, was the recommendation that you would pay for accommodation if you were renting, 30% of your salary. And nowadays it seems that only places like Luxembourg, Vienna, and maybe another place that we saw there, Helsinki, are around that 30 to 40% mark. So what is going on in these countries here? The government has taken their eye off the ball here when it comes to these things, and desperate measures needed, especially in Portugal, especially in Madrid and Barcelona, because of the amount of people coming into these countries, obviously people getting out and about looking for property, and the reality is that it's not available. at least not for a decent part of somebody's salary. Comments now. We'll have a look at some that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers. This one here from Pete. I want more light in the evening. Thanks, Pete, for the comment, referring to the article that we saw the other day in which Mr. Sanchez's proposal to the European Commission was mentioned. He wants to scrap daylight savings time in Spain and other European countries as well. He wants the whole of Europe to scrap daylight savings time. The big question is, which time zone do we stay on? Do we stay on summertime or do we stay on wintertime? That's the question. I don't know. If we did go on to wintertime permanently, I think it would be more beneficial for hours of light in the morning, whereas as this person here, Pete, saying afternoon. So we would have to stay on summertime for that. So we'll see if this idea or proposal gets any more traction. Don't know. It's been around for a while, but Sanchez pushing for it. Ken with another comment. I'm in the LA area, and hate it when it's dark at 5 p.m. Still thinking about a move to Spain, Gandia, Centro, or Castellón. I do like Valencia, and if I bought there, it wouldn't be too much to have a couple of extra bedrooms, and then I could take in working people who are priced down. I'd make sure they don't speak English. Good for me and them. Thanks, Ken, for the comment. Not a fan of the light disappearing in the early afternoon. 5 p.m. doesn't like it, so obviously proposing the summertime permanently here in Spain. And also, if Ken does move to Spain, might be able to help out some of the locals with cheaper accommodation. So maybe more people like Ken needed to solve the housing crisis here in Spain. 2 or 3 bedrooms, a few extra bedrooms. Put some tenants in. They teach the old Espanol. Ken comes out a winner, and the locals come out a winner as well with cheaper accommodation. Good idea, Ken. Thanks for that. Another one here from Chuck. Scrap it, Stuart. Daylight savings. No hesitation on that one. So Chuck, clear with his words there. Scrap it. Get rid of it. Daylight savings. DLS. Get rid of it. No longer needed. Again, do we stay on the summertime or the wintertime? That is the question. If it is indeed scrapped one day, I don't know. Or should Spain go back onto its original time zone, which should be the same as Portugal, the UK, and Ireland? That's also a question that we need to put on the table. Dude with another comment at minute 7:20. I believe this would help the economy, as many people in Spain really do not earn much if they are self-employed, or autónomos as it's called here. Yes, dude, you are correct with that. A lot of people don't earn a huge salary when they are self-employed, and the last thing that they want is to have to pay more social security and more tax to the government if they are low income earners or anybody who's on the self-employment system. It used to be simple, I would say. You used to pay a certain amount a month. It was the same amount for quite a long time. It might have gone up with CPI, inflation, year-on-year basis. But of course, in recent times, this current government has rethought the system, and the previous minister in charge, who's now the head of the Bank of Spain, came up with the idea to make self-employed people pay according to what they earn. So that means that the self-employed quotas went up quite considerably for a lot of people. And that's where a lot of the complaints lie. The idea is the Spanish government doesn't trust self-employed people. It's as simple as that. They want people to pay more money into the system so that the government can give them more of a pension in later years, because the government here doesn't want people to be independent when it comes to incomes in your latter years of your life. They want to be able to give you your pension and have you say, thank you, Spain, for my pension every month. Thank you, Mr. Government, for my pension. They don't want people to have too much savings. They don't want people to have a huge private pension plan. That's the idea. Quite the opposite. They want to be able to control people. That's how it works here. Again, just my opinion. Carl with another comment. Price-wise, it's a bargain. Based on your review, the food was pretty good. And if I were a passenger, I'd have finished the entire bottle and had a nap. Thanks, Carl, for the comment there. Don't know if you would have had the entire bottle or not. It was pretty shocking, the wine that they put on the table. I only got the wine option for the video. I had a sip, maybe 2 sips. That was all, because I was driving. So I didn't have any more of the wine. And if I had been the passenger, or in a passenger situation, I probably would have knocked or at least a few more glasses of that wine off, mixing it with a little bit of the soda water or lemonade or whatever you want to call it, that you'll quite often see at these roadside restaurants, people mixing their wines with this liquid called casera or gaseosa is the correct name. Casera is a brand name, but people often use that word for that product, and it can turn a bad wine into a drinkable glass, if you like, and that's the idea, I think. So thanks for the comment, and it was a decent meal as well for the price. Martin, I stopped in a similar place on the highway into Barcelona. It had rooms also, so I stopped for the night. The only guest, I was amazed at the quality and value of the food. I had an Elvis stew. You couldn't imagine such a dish in a budget place in the UK, always frozen fish and chips. I don't eat meat, and this can be a problem in cheap restaurants in Spain. So it was a blessing that they had fish dishes. Thanks, Martin. Yes, you are correct with that. It can be a bit of an issue if you don't eat meat to find non-meat options on, especially the Menú del Día. They might give you a salad choice to begin with, or maybe some type of green beans, but the green beans normally come with ham. At the majority of places that I eat, and normally I'm looking for lunch bargains with these menus of the day, paying around that 12 to 15 euro mark. And I think the options that I had yesterday, the first one was, whenever I ate that meal a couple of days ago, chicken was the first meal, the first choice. I think there was maybe a pork dish, not sure, a fish of the day, and then I'm speaking for the sake of speaking, and then the ribs, which is what I had. So there weren't any vegetarian options there. Would there be many vegetarian options on the general menu? Probably not, because a lot of these places are not catering to huge amounts of vegetarians or vegans that are coming to these places. Here in Spain, you have to go to big cities to find truly vegetarian restaurants. You won't find them in smaller cities here in Spain. So it is a bit of an issue for people that have chosen to not eat meat for whatever reason. Thanks for the comment. And the last one here from David, always coffee when he eats his menu of the day. Love it in Spain. Now, anyone who has been watching my videos for a while will know that I don't necessarily agree with what David has said there. Fair play to him. If he wants to have a coffee after his meal instead of dessert, no problems at all. Go for it. But the quality of the coffee in a lot of these establishments is, how would I describe it? Rubbish, basically. In my opinion, of course, for my taste. What I can't understand is they keep serving up a lot of terrible coffee here in Spain when you can go to the supermarket, buy a Nescafe capsule and get a decent coffee at home. I mean, I reckon it would be easier to do something like that. And some places have actually gone down that path. They have Nespresso as an option in their establishment. Some service stations around the country have this option, and you get a decent cup of coffee, or what I consider to be a decent cup of coffee. But again, it's my own personal taste, personal choice, that a lot of the coffee here in Spain, subpar, not up to scratch. Again, my opinion. Now we'll go into the live chat and check out what has been happening there in just a moment. I need to change the backdrop picture. You've seen it on the screen over the course of the video so far. And it's this one here from Noel. and it's from a place in Alicante called El Campello. So again, with that very close to the sea coastal building, I imagine Noel's taken this picture from either his home or apartment where he was staying, or maybe a hotel, not sure. But it seems to be the typical setup in that part of Spain. Nice swimming pool there, views of the sea, nice calm Mediterranean, and of course the sun going down and the red sky that you quite often get on those sunsets here in Spain. So thanks, Noel, for sending the picture through. Anyone who has a picture that they would like to see on the backdrop, the email address is on the screen now. spainspeaks@gmail.com is where you can send them through to. Any other information that you would like to send my way, that is also the email address, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Like icon is on the screen too if you haven't hit it yet. We're currently sitting at 36 likes. So if you wouldn't mind, hit the like icon and we'll see if we can get up to a decent tally today. Just below the video, you'll find it. If you're watching on a computer, television, you know where to find it. And also on your phone, you'll see that like icon. So do us a favor and hit it, please. We'll see if we can get up to a decent tally of likes today. We'll see. Now, into the live chat. No, I have to, I don't have to, but I always like to do this. Thank the people that have supported the channel. Super thanks, super chat here on the live streams, people that have bought me a coffee, Patreon supporters also, and the channel members. We've had a few people jump on in recent times as channel members here. From 99 cents a month, you can become a member of the channel and help support it. And another way to support the channel is to watch the videos all the way through. Very, very important to watch the videos all the way through. I'll just scratch my nose here quickly because that is a metric that YouTube likes. The longer that people are on the platform here watching videos, the more YouTube will promote them. So, yeah, just watch the video out until the end if you can. Now, into the live chat, let me open it up here if I can. Let me scroll up to the top. Some familiar names popping out already in the live chat. Andrew, for example, always here on the live streams, contributing. Great to see. Valued member too. Saying hello to Al, who's back in Spain. We'll get the first comment from Andrew. Sometimes they're mixed up in the order that I have them on the screen here. Good evening all. Hope you are well. Cold, wet and very windy here in London South East. Windy today here where I am, I will say. Quite blustery. A storm passing over Spain at the moment. I think it's called Storm Benjamin. I might be mistaken on that, but I think that's the name. Good to see you, Andrew. Barbara's in the chat as well, coming in from Catral still. Another day there, recovering, of course, from bursitis, I think it is. James and Kathy coming in from a cooler and windier Worcester. Storm Benjamin, there we go. The same storm affecting the UK, affecting Spain. Benjamin is its name. Not creating a lot of havoc, I don't think, at least here. The winds are quite strong, but maybe up in the north of Spain, Galicia, Asturias, it could be wreaking some havoc, especially with the fishing industry. The boats can't go out. Sani in the chat also. Good evening, everyone. Very wet and windy in Basingstoke. Al, back in Spain, as I said, finally 23 degrees in the historic El Puerto de Santa Maria down there in the south of the country. Came through Madrid yesterday. Immigration wasn't all that bad. Not so great either. That the new system, the EES system. Al sent me an email today saying that he has a couple of passports, so he can go through as a European citizen or as a US citizen. Chose to go through the US citizen route because it was a smaller line, I think. So thanks, Al, for the input there. Toasty Matheron is where Kev is coming in from today. Good to see you, Kev. Arma is also here in the chat, coming in from, I think, also that part of the world, the Mediterranean down there. 30 degrees this afternoon. Hike Ranger, valued member, back in Spain in 5 days. Tenerife. Speed up the bureaucratic processes in Spain. Come on, Stu, you're having a laugh. Yes, to quote Ricky Gervais in one of his many comedy series, having a laugh. Yeah, Will it happen, Kev? Probably not. I'm not going to hold my breath waiting for any changes there. Just the proposal as we saw, but you never know. Spain might be able to speed things up. Fernando, I think it's very possible. So Fernando's confident that there will be some changes when it comes to that freedom of movement for workers between the two countries. Former Madrid correspondent, now seemingly permanent US resident again, Dave, coming in saying hello. US spent approximately 3.5% of GDP on defence last year. There we go. Thanks, Dave, for the figures there. El Conquistador coming in from Florida, as always. Thanks for the updates. Thanks for that, El Conquistador. Gigi, regular viewer also, valued member 2. Surprise, Arizona's where Gigi is. Regarding the time thing, in my opinion, Spain should get in board with their neighbours and use the same time. They could. I think that's the best option, Gigi, honestly speaking. Armour also saying here, I remember them doing daylight saving in the UK when Armour was younger. It wasn't so favourable. It wasn't so favourable with the farmers and had to change it back. Thanks for that. Yeah, the farmers complain, they do. Constantino, if there's an annual maximum amount on the pension payments in Canada, there's a maximum which is reached by mid-year. Not sure about that, Constantino. Are you referring to individual pensions, what the maximum amount is? Don't know. I think the maximum pension here in Spain, if you have put in the maximum amount your whole working life, works out to be around 3,000 euros a month, I think. Maybe a few euros less, but around there, or maybe a few more, I don't know. Jaime, Spain uses the same time zone as Germany because of the alliance between Franco and Hitler. Thanks, Jaime, for that. That was a long time ago, that alliance, and why it continues, I don't know. Nobody seems to know why it continues to this day. He changed it, change it back. Socialist governments don't like the self-employed. They don't have the control over them they want. That is true, Andrew. But again, it seems to work the same with all governments here in Spain. It doesn't really matter what the colours of the government are. The system continues to function in the same way. That's the issue. High Flyer John, a bit late to the party. We'll catch up later. Back in the UK now, I think John is. Carrie Ann saying, who will win? Arms manufacturers, USA companies and middle country brokers. Belgium. Hi from La Nucia in Alicante. Thanks, Carrie Ann. Stratospherian, valued member, saying good evening to all. Carrie also votes for summertime. There we go. Ed's coming in from a blustery Cornwall. 70 kilometre per hour gusts and showers, 10 degrees Celsius today. Daylight savings time simply means getting up an hour earlier than normal and pretending that you've only changed your watch. Thanks for that, Ed. James, can't stand the heat and I find the sun obnoxious. I love Galicia, plus it's not full of tourists and migrants. Thanks, James. Dave is having some organic extra virgin olive oil from Spain being delivered next week. Dave's partner Zoe is arriving on the 29th. Is she bringing some with her as well, Dave? Ed's given a super chat here. £5 British. Gracias por tu trabajo, como siempre. Thanks, Ed, for that. A little bit of Spanish thrown in, supporting the channel. Great to see. Thank you very much. Frank saying, I want Sanchez to announce that they will spend that much on military, then build weapons factories here. Let's see Trump's reaction, says Frank. Thanks for that. Dave's returning to Madrid in March. There we go. So what's that, 6 months away, Dave? I'm sure you'll be welcomed back into the country. We had a question the other day from somebody questioning whether people from the States are personas gratas or whatever they call here in Spain nowadays. I think so. TOL just come back, no problems. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look here. Javier's giving some ideas to Al there with the food choices. Charlie saying, great news. I went to a medical specialist through the public sector today and he switched to speaking to me in fluent English halfway through when he noticed my English was my first language. There we go. Thanks, Charlie, for that. Benny Hoffa is where Armour is coming in from this evening. Now, that's the end of the live stream. That's the end of the chat. It's been a pleasure as always. I'll be back again on Sunday with another one. Hope to see you guys then. Until that particular moment, have a great start to the weekend. A fantastic end to the week. Hasta luego, hasta entonces, and bye-bye.